All right, here's our video today. Sodium ions and health. And there you're looking in the picture. Sodium, salt. That's table salt. It's not just sodium ions. It looks like sugar, right? Sugar and salt look the same. So again, I said sodium ions. So let me write that down. So sodium ions. And so in table salt, so let's write that first. I'll write table salt. If I can get my pen working. Sometime today, right? So you're looking at table salt. Right there, which is, by the way, sodium chloride. Sodium chloride. And when you put that in your body, from however you intake it, your body's going to separate it into sodium ions. So it's going to have sodium is Na, and the ion will have a plus. Sodium ions are always positive. Positive. They have a positive outlook. And the chlorine will be separated into chloride. And that chloride, by the way, has a negative charge. The interesting thing about table salt is that sodium in itself is, in its pure form, is a metal. It's a soft metal. It's an alkali. And it likes to combine with chlorine and other halogens. And chlorine is a halogen. And by itself, chlorine is very dangerous as a gas. It's a deadly gas. It's a poisonous gas. And sodium by itself could be dangerous because it reacts violently with water. But when you put the two together, everybody's happy. So when they're separated in the body, though, they're separated as an ion. And you should know what ions are. Ions have either more electrons than protons or vice versa. In the case of a positive ion, it has more protons than electrons. And so sodium, Na+, which is the symbol for sodium, it'll have more protons than electrons. That's why it has the plus sign. And chlorine will have, and now chlorine is chloride, and that will have more electrons than protons because there's that negative sign there. So we're going to just talk about sodium ions for your health, but there are others, right? There's calcium ions, and potassium ions, and magnesium ions because they're all electrolytes. And electrolytes are essential for your health. And Gatorade has done a great job in trying to get you to drink Gatorade to get your electrolytes. Actually, your body will make electrolytes. But if you're having a strenuous exercise and you're playing soccer or baseball or football, then you may want to have some Gatorade. All right, so let's get into what sodium does to your body. Sodium ions. And by the way, let's list some other electrolytes that your body needs. It needs potassium, positive potassium ion. It needs calcium. It needs magnesium, and it needs others like chlorine, like I mentioned before. But we're just going to concentrate on sodium ions right here, the positive ones. And why don't we just keep this page? Why not? Why switch? So one thing they do, if we can change the color, let's use black. One thing it does is fluid balance. This is a big one. Well, they're all big, but so what sodium does is it helps control the amount of water that goes in your cell and out of your cell. It's very crucial. Sodium and potassium is involved too. There's other electrolytes involved. So sodium plays a key role in the fluid balance. If you don't have enough sodium, it'll make you thirsty in your body. And of course, when I'm saying sodium, I am saying sodium ions, the positive sodium ions. Number 2, I'll put another one over here. Nerve function. Sodium ions are very important to transmit and generate electrical signals from your nerve fibers. So in other words, so your cells can communicate with each other, it needs sodium ions. If you get an itch, if you have pain, well, you need sodium ions to help generate and transmit those electrical signals that are happening all over your body. So nerve function is a big one. All right, let's do another one. In fact, let's get a clean page and write them all out. All right, type them out, so much easier to see. So fluid balance we talked about. Again, sodium helps control the amount of water going in and out of your cells. Talked about nerve function. They're responsible for help generating and transmitting nerve signals, electrical signals along the nerves, so they can tell you if you have pain or you're itching, get stung by a bee, or so forth. Muscle contractions are vital. Sodium, if we take our heart, for example, we'll draw a little heart, draw a Valentine heart. When sodium ions, this Na+, when they go inside a cell, out can come out a calcium ion, and calcium ions are vital because the calcium ions will give you muscle contraction. So sodium's involved in that too. Nutrient absorption. So when we eat, one of our main foods that we eat, that we need, not that we eat, when we eat our food, our body wants glucose. Glucose is a sugar. It's a monosaccharide sugar. And in order for glucose to be absorbed into the blood, it needs sodium to help it. So sodium and glucose will be pushed into the bloodstream. Actually, sodium helps it get into certain nerves in our small intestines, and then by diffusion, glucose will go into our blood. So glucose is vital to get into our cells so we can make ATP, which is our energy that we need, the adenosine triphosphate. And the last one we'll talk about is acid-base balance. So if you think about our body, we have blood. Our blood itself is acidic. Well, actually, it's not acidic. Our blood, we'll write that down. Our blood has a pH, and pH is the power of hydrogen or potential of hydrogen. And that's about a 7.8 is blood. So that's a base. Our blood is a base. And so we want to keep that balance. And if it's off, sodium could help regulate that balance. For example, water has a pH which is neutral of 7. And anything lower than 7 is an acid. For example, your gastric acid, which is your stomach acid, that could have a pH of about 2 to 3. So, we want to keep these balances in the body. Right? Actually, it's not even 2 to 3, it's 1 to 3. Around 1 to 3 is the pH of the stomach acid. Spelled it wrong over here. It's gastric. Well, this is a new word over here, whatever that is. Get rid of that guy. Gastric acid or stomach acid. And urine, urine in our blood has a pH about 4.5 to 8. So it can go from acidic to a base, alkaline. All right, back to our salt. Oh, by the way, the calcium ions that I say, let me just let you write that down again with the calcium over here. The calcium ions that come out, they are positive, but you'll see a 2. And that 2 means they have 2 extra protons than electrons in the calcium. Calcium is really responsible for those muscle contractions. And of course, you need sodium ions to help that. So without that happening, your heart wouldn't beat. Very vital. So let's look at the list again. So again, it's vital that you get sodium in your diet, and you probably get too much sodium in your diet. So too much is not good, and too little is not good. Some people, they drink excess water, so you got to be careful on that. You don't want to flush out that sodium also. So again, we said fluid balance, nerve function, muscle contractions, nutrient absorption, the glucose, remember that, and the acid-base balance. So sodium ions are important as well as the rest of the electrolytes.